Yeah, sure. I'll just record this. Yeah. 2.
This is 2 right now.
Okay.
Talking in 2. I'm going to go back to 1.
That sounds good. That was loud, yeah.
This is microphone number 1.
That sounds terrible.
Okay. Let's try. Go ahead to 2.
All right, we're back in microphone 2.
Say something again?
Something again.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds fine. All right, so what are we really here for today?
I guess I'm here to complain about how bad my semi-powered version of A deck is.
Yeah.
It's basically the deck, but with a different article. It's A deck.
Yeah, we're getting ready for the Winter Derby. I was going to play like a Party Crasher deck. That's what I was going to play. I even bought cards for a Party Crasher deck. Like I bought 2 moats. And then I put blue cards in the deck. And then I took some of the bad cards out of the deck. And then I was like, well, I'm playing all these good white cards and I'm playing this blue power. Why don't I put other good cards in the deck, right? And as it happens, all roads lead to a deck, right? All roads lead to a deck.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what we're doing. We're deck teching bad decks for the Winter Derby. ATL format, 1 strip, whatever else that entails, 4 of other cards.
Yeah, and like I had a similar path. I picked up a CE Ancestral Recall and a CE Time Walk.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like,
Shout out Card Addicts. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to play this red-blue counterburn deck. And I was like, oh, I'm going to play Orcs in it because I don't want to play a good deck. I want to play a meme deck.
Right.
And then I was jamming games with people, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'll just play Disenchant, Swords, Counterspell, Blue Power. What if I put Sarah Angels in this deck?
Mm-hmm.
And then I started buying dual lands.
Mm-hmm.
So I have Plateaus, Tundras, Volcanic Island.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wait a minute, what if I just play a control deck and then I cut Sarah Angel because every time
what
I
if you cut bad? Just cut
game.
bad cards out of the deck, right? Just take Sarah Angels out of the deck, like they're not good.
There were games I would not have lost if I just did nothing instead of tapping 5 mana to cast Sarah Angel.
Right.
So I just took it out of the deck and I moved them to the sideboard. And then I took them out of the sideboard. And like, this is my sideboard. It has things like balance in it.
This is your current sideboard.
With this, yeah. I won a game with this Shivan Dragon yesterday against a Blood Moon deck. I just sat there, played mana sources, drew some cards. They Blood Mooned me, and then I was like, draw 7th land so that I had access to Blue Blast, cast this dragon, kill them 3 turns later.
This is my current sideboard.
Nice balance.
So that's really I think both of us pretty much have our main decks like within 1 card. I feel like our mains are like set.
Yeah, I would agree. Once I put the 2nd Ivory Tower in so I could be Saruman.
Oh, you don't have 2 Ivory Towers in yet? Okay.
I do now.
Oh, you do now. You have 60 cards?
Playtesting yesterday.
60
I have 60
cards
on 22 lands that can reduce mana. I have a Maze of Ith. I have 4 Felwar Stones and a Soul Ring.
Yes, you are playing without jewelry just because you don't have it. I am playing a deck with all the power because I have it. I mean, you have the most important power cards, which are Swords to Plowshares, and I'm going to say Divine Offering, but other people are going to say Disenchant. I'm going to say Divine Offering. I just think, well, we can talk about that too. But yeah, well, so you have 4 Felwar Stones.
I have this as well.
You have the most powerful card in the format, which is, I'm so happy. I'm really happy you got this.
Yeah, I could have bought a blue and a white CE Mox, but I would rather draw cards. This card has been amazing every time.
It's so good. How about that? It's really good. I'm glad you have moved over to the dark side and stopped playing non-power. Just put Library of Alexandria in your deck. It's so good.
I was talking to Rob about this yesterday because he's kind of in that same space now. He's like looking to spend some money, buy some dual lands, and
right.
I was like, dude, mono green's a fine deck, but it's boring as hell. Like, you just, which one of these
Yeah,
elves do I play? How do I deal the last 6 damage? Like, I would rather just mind twist somebody or do nothing, cast Ivory Tower, and then draw cards with library.
right. Um, it is. We yeah. I should have made notes about stuff we could talk about. I did have some notes because I went to Bootleggers last weekend, and that was good. I had a good time there. But then I made notes about, but probably the most of the whole time there though, I'm thinking about my deck. I don't know. I don't know why I'm thinking about this deck here so much, but it's what I'm doing. I don't have all my cards in the sideboard here, so yeah. Anyway, so your deck is Fellwar Stones. My deck is Power. I have basically.
And we're winning with the same card.
I am for
We're winning
some
with
reason
Fireball.
not running Book. I know it's bad, it's terrible, but I'm going to run 2 greeds, and I'm going to lose a lot because I'm going to lose too much life. But I'm running 2 greeds instead of 2 to 3 books. I know I should put Book in. I know it's so good. Put Book in. I went down to 59 cards the other day because I took balance out of the main, because I think a lot of times balance may just come out anyway because it just kind of takes cards out of your hand, which is not great. And so I had 59 cards, and I was like, well, I should just put a book in here because it'll be 2 greeds and a book, and that's what I'll do. And then I didn't do it. I put a 3rd counterspell in because I'm not running 4 counterspells. You have now gone up to how many? You're at 3 bolts in the main. Yeah.
Yeah,
And 1 bolt in the sideboard.
1 in the sideboard.
I'm running 4 bolts in the main. My deck is 4 bolts. That's kind of what I started with. I started with 4 bolts just because it seems good. Seems like a good card to like slow creatures down. Win condition is Fireball, just like your deck. Basically,
Yeah, 2
you win with
fireballs,
Fireball or you
recall,
win with
regrowth,
Factory. I have 2
I've
Fireballs in
won
the
games
main.
with Brain Geyser too. Like Brain Geyser,
You could win
wins
with Brain
maybe
Geyser.
10%
I don't want my
of the
deck to go that long. I guess it can. I don't want to play that long of a game. So like greeds
Right,
help
but you
greeds
also
help me
have-
out with that. Like I'm either losing to greed or I'm getting one of my towers. I'm playing 2 towers in the main. Again, I thought about going up to 3 towers, but I think
You have Mirror Universe as well.
I have Mirror Universe. Yeah. So Mirror Universe is another win condition. Yeah. So I'm playing basically the deck minus books pretty much, but I'm moving a few cards around. Like I only have 3 counter spells in the main. I have 3 Divine Offering in the main. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just think Divine Offering is better than Disenchant. Like, we play in a format where half the decks run Suchi and Triskelion and Mishra's Workshop. So tell me why Disenchant is better. Like, what is beating me? You know, what
I think the Blood
enchantment
Moon,
is
but
beating
that's
me?
just going to happen.
Besides maybe a Blood Moon, you know, what is beating me? What is beating a non-creature control deck? What enchantment? I just feel like Divine Offering is just better. Yeah, 4 swords, mana drain, 4 lightning bolts. These are my instants. 3 Divine Offering, 2 disenchant right now in the main. So still 5. I'm sticking with the 5 main deck artifact kills, but I'm just moving them around to 3 Divine Offering, 2 disenchant. 3 counterspell. I was running 2 because I was running less blue in the deck. I was more like a black heavy deck. But counterspell is just good, and it stops things that swords can't deal with.
How many Tundras have you bought in the month of December?
I've purchased 2 Tundras in the last couple of weeks.
You've added 1 counterspell to your deck per Tundra, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. I was running mana drain, counterspell, power sink. I was running like 1 of each originally. I do like power sink, but I think there's probably just some cases where it's just not good. Some cases it's really good. But there's probably some cases where it's not good, and counterspell is just better, right? Counterspell stops weird combo cards that beat me, like Eureka or All Hallows Eve or other weird stuff that I can't deal with. That's a permanent, right?
I was thinking about this earlier. Like, I hate losing to All Hallows Eve. so much that I thought about playing one copy of Tormod's Crypt in my sideboard.
Right.
And then I realized I just don't care that much. But that being said, if I find out I'm only bringing in 13 or 14 cards from my sideboard, I may put Crypt in just to kind of troll the randomizer players.
I keep thinking about Crypt and the sideboard, and I also think it's probably reasonable against like another control deck, but I want to focus on this statement that we talked about, and I did not say these words, but John Dittert did, and he was referencing his second place finish. Right? We'll just say he won. He won. What was it? Uthentroll Cup. Playing an unpowered red deck. He basically won the tournament. He did in fact win the tournament. He won the tournament, right? In his little blog that he did, he made the statement of Wheel of Fortune, which was not in his unpowered red deck. You may think, oh my gosh, what is this guy thinking? But he says, I hesitated leaving such a powerful card out of the deck, but it's only good in this deck if everything else has gone wrong. I am really a fan of that statement.
So right? I cut Wheel of Fortune from the deck I'm playing for the same reason. I was like, man, this will be super cool if I get behind a couple cards. I can just wheel and get back in the game. But like, if I'm a couple cards behind, I've already lost the game.
You've already lost the game, right? Yeah, it's so that is now the way I'm thinking about my... I mean, I guess you could say, well, why are you playing Greed? Well, because I want to play Greed. Because the name of the deck is going to be the Greedy deck, so I've got to play Greed. But if I'm going to like think about the sideboard in relation to this statement, I should probably take Warp Artifact out of the sideboard, even though I really want to play Warp Artifact against another control deck. I really, really wanted to do that. But Hypnotic Spectre is probably just better, right? Like,
I agree. I would rather play against Hippie than Warp Artifact.
You would rather play against him. So that doesn't sound like...
I hate
but likely you have boarded out swords. But the problem against me and you is like we're playing bolts, and
right.
You may also board those out. You're going to board those out anyway against a control deck. So you don't really know that I have hippies, but I don't know. See, here you go. You're making me think. Like I keep going back and forth between Hippie and Warp Artifact, where I just think Warp Artifact is probably just too slow, right? And Hippie's just so good. If it sits a turn and it takes a card out of your hand, it's just so good. It's so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's a reason that Weissman played it in the sideboard.
Right. Yeah, I think Hippie can just win the game, and you're casting it on turn 2 sometimes off Jewelry. So
yeah, and I play way more black sources because of Greed. Like I'm playing scrub lands in my deck. Talking about my lands, I have 21 lands. One of them is Maze of Ith. And I'm only playing 3 factories because that's the cool number to play. Everything is 3s. 3 counterspell, 3 factory, 3 divine offering. That's what we're doing here. I thought about 3 Ivory Tide, but it just doesn't fit.
Yeah, that's how Sean Fleischman finished second at the Ice Age Pro Tour. He just had 3 of everything.
Yeah, 3 Scrubland, 3 Volcanic Island, 3 Underground Sea, 3 Factory, 3 City of Brass. I like it. I may just end up going 3 of other things, but it probably... I mean, I could see going 3 Bolt. Like, there are decks where just Bolt is not good, and I'd rather Bolt be something else. Like when I play tested against Justin and Reanimator, like Bolt just comes out because it doesn't kill anything that he's reanimating. So
right. Yeah, like, you just swords his guys.
Yeah, Bolt comes out and other things come in. This is not my sideboard. I thought I had all my sideboard together, but basically my sideboard is it's going to be either 3 or 4 Blue Blast. I'm really thinking about not playing this balance, even though balance is probably correct against certain decks. Especially mainly like Arabian aggro, like you were saying. And against black, it's, I don't know. I worry about rack as well. But again, all right. So let's go back to the statement of I hesitate leaving such a powerful card in my deck, but it's only good if everything else has gone wrong. Okay? I mean, if everything else has gone wrong and I've been him twice, I don't know, man. Like, I'm just probably going to lose anyway, you know, because...
Yeah, well, that's how the saying goes, right?
Yeah, like if I've been him twice, or if they have 2 racks in play, or whatever, like, I feel like this is a everything has gone wrong, and I'm probably already lost anyway card.
It's possible. It's also one of the best cards in the game.
It's my favorite card. This is actually my favorite card.
Well, I blew a guy out when we were doing that playtesting session the other night where, and again, it may not even been balanced. It wasn't balanced. Never mind. I was like, yeah, I set up this thing where I missed a land drop on purpose and played 2 Fellwar Stones, and then he played his 4th land.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went Time Walk, Balance, Ancestral, but probably Time Walk and Ancestral win that game, and Balance could have been 2 Disenchants. Again, like I have 17 to 18 cards I want on my sideboard. I've really only been bringing in Blue Blast, Circle, Divine Offering, Book, Lightning Bolt, and the Dragon. Like, I played a couple of matches against some aggro decks. I didn't even bring in the second Wrath. So I don't know. Yeah. Like, there's a part of me, I want Wrath, but then it's like I have bolts, I have swords, I have counter spells, and like I can burn a fireball or 2 because I'm just going to win by doing 8 damage with factories and then regrowing the fireballs. So
I mean, let me tell you what other cards I just kind of wanted.
I
honestly just wanted to put 2 more fireballs in my sideboard. But basically, my sideboard now is 16 cards with this balance, with 4 blue blasts, with 3 hypnotic specters. It's something like this. What is that? This is somewhat correct here. 12, 15. I'm missing a card somewhere. I'm missing a Divine Offering because I definitely want to play 4 Divine Offerings. So Amanda is bringing me a Divine Offering from Card Addicts. So this is basically what my sideboard is now. And I almost like against red, I've thought about just bringing in more fireballs to like kill dudes. You know, people playing Blood Moon or whatever, just kill dudes.
Yeah, I almost wanted another fireball when I was playing Rob. Like,
because I
brought in the dragon, and it's like you kill 2 other guys, and you wait forever. You draw some cards. You have Ivory Tower. They're not going to kill you, and then you just resolve a dragon or a fireball.
I mean, this is the best Shivan Dragon that's ever been created right here. But it does just get killed, and it's a turn slow, right? Like if I draw this off the top or a fireball off the top, wouldn't I rather draw a fireball off the top? Like if I'm in a position of like either about to lose or can win the game, I'd much rather draw a fireball than a Shivan Dragon. You know, this has to sit a turn. It may or may not do anything. There's so many things that just deal with it, even if it's just a blocker, right? Like if I draw the fireball, I just win. I could just win, whereas the Shivan is not doing anything at the moment.
Yeah. How close are our list, actually? I'm actually looking at mine now. As far as the actual main deck list, like you have Jewelry, I have Fellwar Stones, but otherwise, like I'm on 2 books, 2 towers.
I'm on 2 green, 2 tower.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Instance, I have Ancestral, I have Mana Drain, 4 Counterspell, 4 Swords, 3 Bolt, 3 Disenchant, 2 Divine Offering.
We're just slightly different. I'm running 18 Instance, 4 Bolt, 3 Offering, 2 Disenchant, 3 Counterspell. So we're like very close, right? And honestly, I may take a 4th Bolt out because that could give the 4th Bolt could be a 3rd Ivory Tower. Because man,
the card's so good.
The card is so good, especially with Greed. It's just so good.
Sorceries, I have Brain Geyser, Demonic Tutor, 2 Fireballs, Mind Twist, Recall, Regrowth, Time Walk, Wrath of God.
I'm playing those minus Wrath of God. I don't have Wrath of God in the main.
Right. And then I have 23 lands, one of which is a Maze of Ith, so I have 22 lands.
Yeah, I have 21, one is a Maze of Ith, but I'm also playing more power I'm playing the power, so it's probably a little different. So I think I have like 27 mana sources, I think. 5, 6, 20. Yeah, 27 with
I have the
Lotus.
same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
27
I have
with
22
Lotus.
lands, 4 stones, and a soul ring, so that's 27.
Right. And I have the Mirror Universe is the extra artifact over, or the other artifact that you don't have. Yeah. So, I mean, our mains are like pretty close. So I think our sideboard plans are probably basically the same. Like, right, if our sideboard should be very similar. I kind of wonder what you are going to do against like another hard control deck that's like maybe not playing creatures or something. Where like I wanted to play hippies or like warp artifacts to deal with that. It may just be a deck we just lose to. Like we just lose to the better deck.
Again, I kind of just want to bring in Tormod's Crypt just to like disincentivize their Time Twister, but they'll just disenchant it before they twist. So I don't know. I think I just bring in
They can't though. You can still crypt though.
Yeah, you'll get them for some cards.
Yeah. I think it's probably narrow. I think I feel like it's you see it a lot in sideboards, but it's probably pretty narrow, right? Where play another counterspell, play some other card that like deals with more than one thing, right? Like Tormod's Crypt stops Reanimator, but also just more counterspells stop Reanimator, right? It just stops it. Like just counter their Animate Dead, counter the All Hallows Eve, like just counter it. Yeah. Instead of having this one more narrow card, right?
Well, it's like I ran into this in the last few Alice events that I'll build this sideboard for all these contingencies, and then after the event, I'll be like, okay, I played 4 or 5 matches, and I only used 8 of my sideboard cards.
Right.
And some of it wasn't even because I didn't have a plan for that matchup, but I got into the match and I'm like, oh, I actually don't need all this stuff because if I bring in 6 reactive cards, I'm now cutting threats and I have to win the game. So
you have this sideboard plan to bring cards in, but what are you taking out, right? And that's and just like good control players, that's what we've been working on. We've been working on Excel spreadsheets. That's what I still call them. I call them spreadsheets, Excel sheets. I don't know what people call them now. I don't know what the Zoomers call them now.
It's funny because it's just a Google Doc.
Everybody calls them Google Doc. I don't know what that. We are actually using Excel, Google, right? So we can share the spreadsheet. So, and what we did was, did you add any? You didn't add any decks to the list that I had, right?
No,
I think the deck list that I have pretty much covers most 99.999% of archetypes, right?
Sure. Yeah,
it's probably too many, to be honest with you. It's probably too many.
Yeah, there's probably nuance there. It should be like monocolor aggro or whatever.
Right. We should probably narrow some of this down. So really what we could talk about is these, I don't want to call them fringe cards because I don't think balance is a fringe card, but like if balance is not in the main, like what decks is balance good against where another card isn't good, like another card in the sideboard would be maybe just as good, right? Like for you, maybe Wrath. Like if you're more heavy white, then like maybe Wrath is just as good, right?
Right. I mean, that's what I use balance against in the matchup that I feel like I need it most is I'm trying to kill the 3.5 color Sarah, Dib, Urnum aggro decks.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, like, maybe it's just my playtesting group, but those decks are running like birds into bigger creatures off jewelry. And a lot of the times it's like, I should just kill the bird on sight. I should just disenchant the first piece.
Well, this is where the extra lightning bolts are going to help you, right?
Right.
They're gonna help. You may not always have red on turn 1, but like,
Right.
And that is a thing for you too. Like we both have like we're playing this. I don't know if we can always have red on turn 1. Like it. We are on the draw though. We have discussed where mainly we're going to play on the draw for most of this tournament.
Yeah, I think
because
the only
it
time
allows
I
us
even
to see one
play,
more card. Yeah.
Right. The only time I even really want the play is against the Black Rack Hymn decks.
Yes.
I want to be able to get I want to be able to get 2 mana sources into play,
Right.
and then if I have any kind of counter spell, I can stop the first him. But
right. Yeah, or you can just get
being on the
important
draw and getting
cards into
him
play,
is
right? Like
rough. Right.
put your library in play, or put like put something you really may not want out of your hand right into play.
Yeah, that was the adjustment I made in my last set playing against the Black Rack player. Is I just took the play and I played library on turn 2 and used it to cast Fellwar Stone. And then I was like, all right, blow my hand away. I'll sit here and do nothing until I get back to 7, and then
Right.
Thank you for turning on Tutor and Twist now with your swamps into my Fellwar Stone.
There you go. Yeah. The deck balance is terrible against, right? We're agreement of this. These are. I'm just reading down our deck list to where like I don't think you don't need balance. Like you don't need balance against the deck. I don't think you need balance against shops. You're running 12 cards that can kill their creatures, and you are running Wrath of God in the main, right? And we're running fireballs. Like. I don't think.
Yeah, I think against shops, you just bring in all your disenchant effects.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I want the 4th. I mean, I am only running 3 disenchant, but I'm going to run 4 divine offering, and also we're running mazes. Like maze it stalls the game until we draw draw a fireball or whatever we need to draw, right? Or draw another. The way I'm thinking about balance is, since we always want to have more cards in hand. Like the game we are trying to play is card advantage. So like if we always want to have more cards in hand, is balance plus discarding a card better than X? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, oftentimes I would rather just play a mana source, take a hit, and then cast Wrath.
Yeah,
but this is
like taking some damage is. I mean, we're also like we're a deck that uses its life total as a resource. Very.
Right. I've just been taking damage to go down to 8, and then I start panicking at 8. But
me it's even rough because I have greed. So like if I've got a greed in play, I have to kind of wait until I have a tower or right. Which is again
2 towers in the main now. Like there are times when I just play tower and then I'll just be content to draw.
I may take this 3rd bolt out and put a tower in. I mean the 4th bolt out and put a tower in. It's just better. Like what is better, bolting a Curd Ape or playing a tower on turn 1?
I would rather have the tower.
I'd rather have the tower. Yeah, like I'd rather have the tower in play.
Well, it's crazy because you just do nothing for 2 or 3 turns and you blank 2 of their lightning bolts. Yeah. You just gain 6 life and laugh at them. And then they kill you with Iron.
Yeah, all these aggro decks like Lion Dip Bolt, or I guess any other aggro deck, like I guess those are the best. To me, those are probably the best decks where you like balance, right? Because like, but again, that's also weird because your opponent is emptying their hand. You balancing is bad. Like, yeah, I wiped your board of 3 creatures, but I also lost 2 cards out of my hand or 3 cards out of my hand, right? It just doesn't, especially if we're playing a tower game. If we're trying to play tower and card advantage, maybe I'm overthinking this balance thing, but I'm really talking myself out of balance out of the 75.
Right. I just don't see myself bringing it in against the control decks. I don't want it against shops, I don't think. I don't think I want it against the deck.
Any other decks that are playing like mid-range? No. Right?
Right.
No, like Dead Guy
you have swords.
Yeah, like
swords and
any deck that like doesn't care about lands, like you don't want to bring balance in. Any deck that plays Geddon, you don't want to bring balance in. Like any combo deck, you don't care about balance.
Right. I almost want another dragon. I just want to play 2 Shivan dragons.
I mean, honestly, that's why I've got the fireballs, because I just think. I do want to play Shivan Dragon. Maybe I do something like this, right? Like something like that. That's just cool.
It's bothering me that is 6/6/3 instead of 5/5/5.
Well, yeah, it's still actually 16 cards because, because of balance is here, and I like how I've moved around my blue blast here, so it's really confusing how many blue blasts I'm playing. This is Divine Offering. This is another divine offering. I thought about running a copy artifact because I thought that was cute against. I still think about this copy artifact against control decks. Was I just like copy a book, disenchant a book kind of thing?
I thought about copy artifact for a while, but I was like, oh, I can get another soul ring. I can, like, if you play it and they have Chaos Orb in play, they probably just have to blow the orb. But you don't really care about Chaos Orb either because you have disenchant effects and counter spells. And you don't have permanents. They're just going to blow up a land with it anyway. It's just Stone Ring.
Yeah, or they're going to hit your book or something, right?
Right. Although I would like to have Chaos Orb in play and then cast Copy Artifact, but I don't think this is the deck for that in this tournament.
Yeah. I mean, if we're trying to be really serious and play these really tier 2.5 control decks, right?
Right. Well, if that's the case, like, I almost want to put the second recall back in the deck, but I just don't have room.
I don't either. I played it. So again, that was like another thought of, I don't ever want to recall in my hand early. Regrowth in your hand early is also kind of weird unless you're specifically casting Ancestral Recall
twice.
Yeah. And even like, I don't know. It's just kind of weird to use that effect so early. Right. Even if somebody kills your library, like, are you regrowthing a library?
Probably not early in the game. I'm going to wait till you get control. So the only time I burned it early in recent memory is one of my opponents played like 3 land destruction effects in the first 5 turns, and I recalled for 1 off of City of Brass and 2 Felwar Stones to get an island back.
Oh.
But it was fine. Like, once I untapped, I had UU again, and I was just like, all right, now we win. I won the game like 25 turns later with
that's crazy. Like, that you still won that game.
And then I initially cast Regrowth to get the recall back.
It is crazy how good these decks are, even though we're still playing like mediocre cards in them. Like, I just look at my hand, I draw cards, and I'm like, how is this winning? And then it just wins. Like. Like, when I played against Justin, I was like, there's no way I'm beating Reanimator. There's no way. Because I have no graveyard hate. But then that's thinking too specifically, right? I'm thinking like,
you just have swords.
I just have all the other good cards, right? Yeah, I just like counterspell
you have to counterspell Wheel of Fortune. You have to counterspell All Hallows Eve.
Right.
Sometimes you have to counterspell Chaos Orb if you don't have the disenchant effect. But other than that, like, you swords as creatures. You disenchant the Animate Deads.
Yeah, and our third game, we talked about where he got Diamond Valley in play. Okay, so he got a Diamond Valley in play, and again, is Swords to Plowshares still good if it puts the creature in the graveyard? Yes, it's still fine. Like,
yeah, it's totally reasonable.
It's still fine. He's still gaining the life off Diamond Valley. And he got up to like 29 life, I think, and I still ended up pulling it out because I counterspelled his like mid-game All Hallows Eve, and I was in a position of just attacking with 2 factories, and then I fireballed, time walked, fireballed. Like from him at a really high life total, right? And they were just like, fireball for 6 2 times or whatever. I'd got him down with factories finally. I honestly think that the decks that scare me the most are probably the extremely good decks, right? Like the deck, or like Shops, or like a Blood Moon deck, probably, right? Because Blood Moon's, it can be tough, right? But I don't know. Yeah. I don't plan on going 8-0. So like, what am I going to do about this? Like, otherwise, I just play a better deck.
Yeah, sure. I just want to go 4-4 and make one person rage quit. And likely that person's going to be me.
No, you seem to have really enjoyed doing this, which I am pleased, right? You're allowing power to get cast against you. You're not conceding with Time Walk on the stack. You're not doing this kind of, we're playing old school here. Like, this is a game of variance. Yeah. It is, if we want to play a better Magic the Gathering format,
you play Alice. Right.
Oh God. Yeah, sure, whatever. No, you play Reloaded. Segway. No, we're not talking about Reloaded. I don't know. I don't know what Magic the Gathering format is good. You just play Cube, probably. That's probably what you'd play. You'd only draft and you'd only play Cube. Yeah. Man, I'm talking myself into this third Ivory Tower in the main. Anyway. It could just be a book. I could just play a book in the main and stop. Honestly, I'll probably end up playing one book. No, I won't. I'm not going to play a book. The deck's just cooler without a book.
I mean, I have 2 in the main and 1 in the sideboard. Is that what I'm doing against control decks? Am I just bringing in Red Blast, Book, 2 more Disenchant effects?
So yeah. Okay, that was my.
Because I know
if we want to be good, if we want to try to be good against a real control deck, like the real deck. I mean, I think I'm better set up than you because I have power, but. And greed is just amazing against a control deck, right? Like, I don't know. I may not have to worry that much, but also how am I winning the game? Like, am I winning with 3 to 4 fireballs and these hippies? Like, is that what I'm winning with? What are you winning with?
Hippie seems really good against the deck, right?
Against the deck, yes. Against your deck, no. This is where I'm like, you know, because the deck doesn't play lightning bolts, but your deck does, and my deck does. My deck do. So,
I said, against the deck, I think I bring in Recall, 2 Red Blast, a Book, and I probably want the other Disenchant effects. I thought about playing Dust to Dust, but like I hate it's a sorcery. Like I would rather have an instant and 1-for-1 them.
Yeah.
But like when I'm playing as the deck, like I cut 3 lightning bolts and I cut Wrath of God. That's 4 easy cuts, and then 1, 2, 3, 4.
The only thing, I mean, more. I like Divine Offering against robots, but Dust to Dust against the deck may be better, you know, because you don't care about the life.
Right.
But I don't know.
Wait, what do you mean life? Oh, the Divine
Like, you don't care about the Divine Offering life, right? Like, against a control deck. Really.
I do have a copy of Dust to Dust that someone wrote Hail Mishra on, so I mean maybe that goes in my sideboard.
But it maybe again, how specific are you getting with your sideboards? You know?
I just want that's the thing, like I just want a plan against like the deck. I want a plan against shops. I want a plan against
red,
the monocolor aggro decks, right? Yeah, like against red, against green, against black, and then against Arabian aggro. So if I have a plan for those 6 decks, I'll be okay. And I guess Lion did Bolt, but we're probably set up okay against them. I have.
You're still telling me what cards you're bringing in. Are you just still trying to win with Fireball? Are you trying to Brain Geyser?
I think.
What is your best bet? You think against the deck? But Brain Geyser may be your best bet.
Right. I don't think you cut the fireballs though, because I think there's some games where like they have a City of Brass or 2, and like.
No. I think I still think you play Fireball. You probably don't play Lightning Bolt. You take Bolt out.
Yeah, that's the thing. I get 3 cuts in Lightning Bolt and a 4th cut in Wrath. So, do we cut Ivory Towers? I cut Ivory Towers against them. So that's 6, right? So that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's fine.
And you're playing Red Blast, and I'm not. I took the Red Blast out of my sideboard.
I just want to be able to interact on the stack with them more against their blue cards. Like I'll have 7 disenchant effects at that point in against them. 2 recalls, 2 ways to just interact with their blue power. I think that's fine. Hold on a second. I think that's fine against the deck, though. I cut 2 towers to bring in 2 disenchant effects. I cut the 3 swords for these 3 cards, and then I cut Wrath for Book.
Yeah. I think I just need to get a plan and stick with it, whether I'm sticking with hippies or sticking with another win con.
I guess I just edit the sheet live. That's what I'm going to
do. I guess you can. Do I need to close it?
No, we can both.
I wish you would just edit the one sheet though, so we could both.
Well, I created a second page because we have different decks, so we're going to have different.
We don't really have different decks though. I mean, we do, but we're probably taking in and out the same things, right? Like,
Right.
Except for maybe one deck, except for against like the deck.
Sure.
Can you still edit with me having this open?
Yeah.
This is good content.
I mean, it's even better because no one's looking at it.
I'm probably just going to end up referencing your sheet. I like how I did
some damage with factory.
I put mono blue in the list here, which I think is funny. Because like it was just a deck that was in this sheet that like I was looking at a spreadsheet and it was just like one of the decks or whatever. I mean, do I really need to sideboard against mono blue? Do I really need to have that in the sheet? It seems, you're playing red blast, right. But I'm not playing red blast. I'm just gonna probably play.
I have a lot more. I feel like I have more red sources than you do.
Yeah. I only have. So right now, after my Tundra has been installed, my sources are. So we're going to add 1 to this number here. So my green sources is 4, red sources is 7, black sources is 10, blue sources 12, white sources 10. So 10 black and white, 12 blue, 7 and 4. That's with the out Lotus, of course.
Right.
So yeah, no balance in the Derby. Boy, it seems.
I don't know. I'm looking at the sheet now. Like, I say I want balance in against black aggro, but if I'm just balancing to like,
you have both
kind of a thing. Well, it's more about like if they blow my hand away, it's like, haha, now
you've lost
they
anyway.
Would have cast.
Yeah.
Right. They would have already cast like a Dark Ritual and a couple of hymns. So like they're not going to have more than 2 or 3 cards anyway. So
right. It's the.
Who cares?
It's the Dark Ritual hippie is good 10% of the time, right? And if they get that, that's good. But probably you're going to have an answer.
Well, I have 7 answers main deck, right? I have 3
you have so many answers
and 4 swords.
I mean, if they like ritual him rack or something, like I don't know, balance doesn't do shit there.
Yeah, like I said, I think I'm just kind of content. Like if I lose to getting Blood Moon on turn 1 or turn 2, or if I lose to him, like I don't really care. I'm just gonna move on. Life.
I think the Blood Moon thing. I sure. If you're playing John Dittert deck and you're unpowered Blood Moon and you beat me, good for you. Like, let's go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate that. I don't really want to lose to him, but it's just a thing. Like, you get hemmed in all these formats where him is legal, so whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I also have a Maze in the main deck. That's another out to hit you on turn 1.
Yeah. Maze is so good. It was very good. Every time I played a Maze against whoever I was playing, like just testing this, it was good. I keep wanting to play an Alabaster Potion, but I'm not going to play that.
You have 2 towers. You just play.
I'm about to have 3 towers. I'm just saying, I'm about to have 3 towers. Anything else we want to talk about?
I think I'm gonna spend some time this afternoon while I'm playing Nintendo, thinking about a few more of these. I like the plan for the deck. I like bringing in Disenchant, Divine Offering, Tome, Recall, and 2 Red Blast, cutting 3 bolts, 2 towers, and a Wrath. I like that. And I think I'm just going to go through and find a plan for shops, Lion Deadbolt, Black Aggro, and like the Arabian deck. Like I said, other than that, the only things I'm really worried about are like the monocolor aggro decks are kind of low-key annoying for me because they turn off Felwar Stone.
Yeah.
Like against red
that's
and
something
black,
we haven't talked about,
really
right? Yes. We haven't talked about that. Yeah.
So like against red and black, it's not really an issue because against the red deck, that means I always have Lightning Bolt. I always have Fireball.
Right.
And against the black decks, that means I always have Tutor and Twist.
Right.
It's probably not bad against white decks either because it gives me swords, it gives me disenchant.
Right. Yeah, we've talked. Against really green, it's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, against green, it's so bad I wanted to cut them. But I was playing Sarah's at the time, so it felt bad to cut mana sources
Mm-hmm.
So maybe against the green deck, now that I'm not playing Angels, like maybe I can just cut them for, like, obviously I want the 4th Bolt against the
Mm-hmm.
green
Want the
deck. I
4th
probably
Bolt.
want the
Yeah.
2nd Wrath. And if honestly, if this is Maze instead of Balance, like
I'm fucking telling you, man.
probably it's like cut three
like I
Felwar
look at your
Stones and go
sideboard
like
against
Maze,
green.
Bolt.
Against green, I want you to board in Wrath of God over Balance. Like I just want you to board.
Right.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're building Bolt Wrath.
Yeah, Bolt Wrath, Maze, and then cut 3 rocks and call it a day. Probably cut 2 rocks and a disenchant.
I mean, honestly, you could take if it's against like the mono green decks that don't play any artifacts. You know, you have rooms for Shivan Dragon or whatever, right? Like take out. You could take out like artifact hate and put in another dude.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's where I was bringing in Angel. Was against that deck, but I think I kind of just want Shivan Dragons instead of Sarah Angels.
I mean, it's cooler, you know.
My entire old school collection. I'll put this on camera briefly. Let's see. This box claims to be 800 cards. I think that's probably more than is actually in here.
Yeah.
This is my old school collection, alphabetized by color, as you do.
Yeah. All right. Anything else we want to say before I cut this off?
Confederacy.
Sure. I like what you said earlier about the what did you say? The green deck is boring. Yeah, fucking hell.
Oh, it's not interesting, right? Like you try to figure out.
It's not.
Try to figure out which of your 1/1s to cast on turn 1.
It's not. Yeah.
And then you do 10-ish to 12 damage, and then you try to find a few more, and then if they cast Ancestral, you lose the game. But again, I'm not a good Magic player, so somebody better than me would have a better time. I just it got to be where I was getting angry, not at my opponent, but at Magic the Gathering, because I felt like I did all this work to do 12 or 13 damage, and then they would just always high roll me. And again, probably I just suck at Magic, but it felt like I was just getting beat by power.
Well, this is old school, so that's what happens. You know, what are you gonna do?
Right. Yeah, sometimes you just lose.
I'm sure nobody watched this far or listened this far or whatever, but just some notes I had for the for bootleggers. It was great to go to an in-person tournament finally. I mean, I've been to one, but it was like 2 years ago, so hopefully I get to hang out with those guys more often. And great round timing. Great. It was so good. Like, so you're at the brewery all day. You're there from 12 to whenever you leave, noon to whenever you leave, but you only play 5 rounds. And so you're fitting 5 rounds into like 8 hours, which is very good. You know, that is enough Magic for me. That is enough playing a bad Underworld Dreams deck is 4.5, 5 rounds, whatever. It's plenty. Like the round time, we weren't trying to like squish rounds into an hour. It was great. I really applaud Casey or whoever comes up with that thing. It's so good. I did like the classic over the A2A. A2A to me is just old school with Necro and Force of Will, pretty much. It's not a format I usually play. You know,
you get Merchant Scroll too, right?
Yeah, you get other cards, but like those are the cards that to me are ubiquitous of like, if you're playing blue, you're playing Force of Will. You're playing black, you're playing Necro. You know,
right.
I didn't see any white. There's somebody ringing my doorbell. Who could this be? I'm gonna have to pause for a second. I didn't see any white cards. Give me a second.
Sure.
Little cash money.
A little cash money. Somebody buying some honeybee honey.
Thank the bees in the backyard. No white. I didn't see any white, which was kind of cool. I did not play against any white cards. I'm sure there are white cards there, but I didn't play against any. And I also didn't steam any strip mines. So all of this scaredness about strip mine. I mean, I saw strip mine, but like it wasn't like I was getting stripped out, right? Like It just doesn't happen. Like, and so it's a 4-strip mine format, and I just didn't see that. Your mana's pretty good in the format because you have all the duels from Ice Age, so that's nice.
Right.
The natural scene it's great. Yeah, these are just notes that I wrote. It's good. There's so many people playing so many different things, not just mono green.
I think you have something in your throat there.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think my
Hey,
yeah.
Do you remember what I was talking about cutting from the sideboard to get another dragon in? Because I'm looking now. I don't know that I can.
Yeah, you were saying that, but I don't know what you would. I mean, if I'm looking at your sideboard and you wanted to put another dragon in, I would cut recall. Or maybe you cut, maybe you just play 3. I'm really thinking about just playing 3 blue blast. I may just play 3 blue blast since I'm playing other red cards, you know?
I feel like I need them in the mono red aggro matchup because I want to be able to interact with 1 mana off a single island because they're just blowing all my...
You also are better set up for that than me. So, like, yeah, that's where your deck... we didn't talk about that either. There's so many things we didn't talk about. Your deck has way more basics in it than mine does. My deck, I only have 1 plains. So
right, I'm playing 7. I have 5 islands and 2 plains.
Yeah, so you have all these islands that don't get turned off, and so you are much better set up.
I'm not as bad against.
No, you're much better set up against a red deck. Yeah. And so yeah, sure. But probably I don't know if you're cutting a Shivan, or if you're putting a Shivan in, I'd like where are you boarding Shivan in against the deck?
No, like it's against the Blood Moon decks, but I think 1 dragon's probably
it's more than enough.
The correct amount.
I think 1 dragon is more than enough. Probably more like 0.8 dragons.
Right.
Like to me, if you're gonna put another red card, I would put another fireball. You know, because at least a fireball kills the thing. You know.
I like this sideboard though. Like,
yeah,
I think Maze is probably a good addition. I like having 2 more disenchants. Like, I would almost want to play Dust to Dust against like shops in the deck, but I don't really care that much. Like, do I want a second recall against the deck, or do I want Dust to Dust? Right.
That's interesting.
Probably I just want.
I don't know. That's a good thought. But I think Dust to Dust only comes in against the deck because I think it's going to more benefit you to play Divine Offering.
Yeah, against shops, I want Divine Offering. Yeah, so
yeah, like Divine Offering and Maze against shops, Dust to Dust against the deck.
This is old school though. I'm not cutting this 4th disenchant in my sideboard.
Yeah, that's where I'm the weirdo. I'm playing 3 disenchants, 1 in the board, so 2 disenchants main.
Yeah, I have 3 main, 1 on the board, and I have 2 Divine Offerings main now.
What enchantment kills us?
I don't want to play against Gloom, but maybe I don't care. Maybe I just fireball them.
Oh no shit! I didn't say this. Did you look closely at the picture that I put in Discord when I had all the mana and 2?
Yeah. There were 2 Glooms in play.
There were 2 Glooms in play. Yeah, and I was just like, all right, whatever. I swords the Shivan Dragon for 7 at one point.
Right. Well, it's like I was thinking about that when I was playing against that mono black player the other day. Like, I don't actually care about Gloom. Like, I care about getting like him twice.
We've talked. Like, we've talked about Gloom before, probably on our first podcast ever. I think when we talked about like, is Gloom really good? Is it really? I mean, is it like actually good? I don't know.
Right.
Here, I'll play this maze. Sure, you got some creatures. You know, I'll play this maze and I'll sit around and you're gonna make mana because you can cast Felwar Stones. You know.
Right. Yeah, Felwar Stone's super good. I just really enjoyed it. It's funny. I was talking to one of the guys who's blood mooning the other day when we were playing, and I was like, man, I kind of just want to get a CE Pearl so I can sandbag it in a disenchant. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, I could do the same thing with one of the 2 basic planes in my deck. Like, what am I worried about?
Yeah, yeah, you have planes. Yeah, yeah. I'm excited. I like this
new sideboard.
I'm excited because these decks make me think. They really make me think a lot. Yeah.
Well, that's what I've been excited about because, like, I'm probably like right at 50%, like within a couple percentage points one way or the other in games over the last 20 games. But like they've all been really fun. I've had to make a lot of decisions. I feel like the decisions I make matter. Like I lost some games to Phil early on in testing where like I was just tutoring for the wrong card or casting regrowth for the like things I thought mattered didn't matter. And so yeah, like as I get more reps in, I'm enjoying it more and more.
Right. And I've played, I've played bad. I say bad. I've played unpowered control decks, but I mean this deck is powered. But like, in that the Timmy Talks League, I learned a lot playing that, right? Because I played an unpowered Sarah Angel control deck,
right.
And it does like teach you a lot about what is really important. Casting some early dudes, having a dude in play and dealing you, attacking you with Sedge Troll or whatever a couple of times, not really that important. Like I'll kill it later.
Right.
Whatever. Like it's, you definitely don't want to use your counter spells for stuff that's like really early, right? Unless, I don't know. What are you counterspelling really early? Something broken, but you might have already lost then anyway, right? If somebody's twisting you early, you probably have already lost. All right.
Yeah, you're really just trying to stop getting blown out, and
yeah, the counterspell just stops you from getting blown out. Yeah. God, I'm about to put this other. Oh, it's gonna be so awesome. 3. Yeah, there's gonna be so many 3-ofs in my deck. I'm so excited. Yes, I'm definitely changing it because my deck is gonna be more 3-ofs. Yeah, Ivory Tower over the 4th Bolt.
Well, the good news is I can't find the altered Shivan Dragon I was going to put in as my second dragon, so that's just more confirmation.
I think this sideboard is fine. Like I don't know. I don't know what card I would bring out. Like the to me the worst card in your sideboard is Recall, because it's very specific. Like you're only playing that against the deck, right?
Correct. Yeah, I don't think I bring it in against. I don't want it against shops. Like maybe against like some really really grindy deck. Like if I play against like a tax tower list or something.
No, I think you want to bring your artifact hate in. You bring your disenchants and your divine offerings in.
Right. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, what is tax tower beating you with? Are they beating you with like Land's Edge or something? Like what are they doing? Then you
they can also gain like 40 life. Like I'm gonna have to beat them with Brain Geyser. So like maybe I want the second recall because they have access to Red Blast, and I have to beat them with Brain Geyser. But again, there's so many matches like I've been playing lately where I just get content to do nothing, play 8 mana sources, and then win the game with fireballs.
Yeah.
So
that's the way it seems like. Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably fine. This is probably totally reasonable.
Hippie's better than Warp Artifact, right?
Yes, because it can just win the game. Warp Artifact's like, here's another thing you have to disenchant.
Yeah.
And again, if they have tower, it doesn't do anything anyway.
Oh God, that's awful. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Like the one card I do kind of want to find a spot for in my sideboard, but I can't cast it anyway, is Tranquility. Just because I've been playing against like enchantment.deck recently. But
yeah, you're only thinking that because you've been playing against Blood Moon or something, right? It's not
right,
and that's hard. So hard for you to cast too. Like,
yeah. So maybe I just bring in Shivan Dragon and not worry about it.
So do you think your deck is? Do you think this is locked in? Are you locked in 75 here?
I'm pretty close. There might be like 1 to 2 cards that get changed, but if it is, it'll be one sideboard card. Like maybe I shave. Maybe something gets shaved from the sideboard, but as far as the main deck, like I'm just looking at my list now. Like unless I get another dual land before the Derby, I mean, ideally I would want like one more Tundra or a Underground Sea.
Oh yeah, sure.
But outside of that, like, and maybe I cut the Tropical Island just for an island. Probably I just play it because it's funny, or just have a dual land that doesn't really do anything.
That's why I like the one. I like the one Badlands in there too because it was kind of weird.
Right.
Surely I have another. Yes, I have another revised Ivory Tower that I can draw on. Okay, I think I'm.
Yeah, it's funny that this is going to be called like a deck or whatever, but like really we're missing out on some like Lord of the Rings Two Towers references.
Yeah.
Of course, then I would have to be playing orcs, right? If I'm actually Sauron.
There you go. Yeah. Okay.
I do hate the ants and the tree people, so I've got that going for me.
All right, I think we've solved the format.
Yeah, coming soon to the 4-4 bracket near you.
Right, yeah. We'll be we'll go like 2 and 2 and then we'll just like play all these like cool decks in the later batch and then just be on this fucking miserable ass deck, right? Playing all these
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go 1-3 and then have to apologize to your last 4 opponents.
Yeah, sorry, I'm
cool
playing
decks.
a bad version of the deck here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not apologizing for
Or like
shit.
you said, like, yeah, just get lucky,
Yeah.
go 3-1, and then get absolutely dumpstered in the second batch.
Yeah, I can't apologize for anything because I don't because we're all playing Magic here and everybody's playing Mind Twist and Library if you own Mind Twist and Library. So, and this is the point of this deck, right? Our deck's purpose is to cast Mind Twist. Like we want to cast Mind Twist. That is how we
want
win.
a Mana Drain and a Mind Twist.
Yeah, we win by casting Mana Drain and Mind Twist and Ancestor Recall and playing a library. That's how we win.
What's funny you mentioned
we don't win
like, not
otherwise.
apologizing. I played in the Guild House tournament, the Swedish event, a while back.
Yeah.
And one of my opponents late in the tournament, like I was on Enchantress. I think we were both 1-3 or something. And he was playing like a fully proxied version of like the deck.
Mm-hmm.
And like after the match, like he apologized to me, and I was like, I don't accept your apology.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you mean? I was like, bro, you registered this deck and sleeved it. Like, you don't get to apologize. Like, just live with what you've done.
Yeah, just I mean, I don't know. Yeah, don't apologize.
Why are you down
just
here
play
at
your
1-3?
You clearly enjoy. Yeah, here's my I picked up a Chinese greed, which is kind of cool. This is it. This is going to be it. Very exciting. Okay. I hope everybody enjoyed listening or watching or whatever this was published on, whatever I felt like publishing this on.
I mean, I'm sure I'll click on it to give us another view.
Yeah, click on it, like, share, subscribe, whatever all that stuff is. Leave a comment because comments are fun. Leave a comment. All right. I'm going to stop recording now.
Godspeed.